הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות והתשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. Oh God, we thank you. Oh God, we praise you as you lead us to victory. For every miracle, for every blessing, it's your light that still keeps us strong. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Because of your might, we fought a great fight, and through the darkness you led the way. Yeah, you made our nation strong. You gave us a land to call our own. From those days and even today. Oh God, we thank you. Oh God, we praise you as you lead us to victory. For every miracle, for every blessing, it's your light that still keeps us strong. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Hashem, Todah Hashem, Todah Hashem, Todah Hashem. V'al hanisim, v'al hapurkan, v'al hagvurim, v'al hatchuot. For every miracle, for every blessing, it's your light that still keeps us strong. Oh God, we thank you. Oh God, we praise you as you lead us to victory. For every miracle, for every blessing, still keeps us strong.
Shalom, I am Rabbi Shaul Praver. I'm sure many of you heard of Oscar Schindler. It was a great movie of a true story about the saving of Jews in the Holocaust period. We have an American hero by the name of Varian Fry, who not only saved Jews, but saved twice as many Jews as Oscar Schindler did. And yet, he is really not known, and he should be. And he's from Connecticut. He lived in Ridgefield for many years and taught in the public school system there in Ridgefield and in the high school and other places which we'll discuss in the course of this interview. And I have with us today Rita Frost, an artist and photographer in her own right, as well as a champion for Varian Fry, to try to encourage the state of Connecticut here to recognize him and honor him as he should be. After all, he did save 2,000 Jews during the Holocaust. So it's a great pleasure to introduce you to Rita Frost, champion for Varian Fry. Shalom.
Shalom, Rabbi. It's an honor to be here to talk about Varian Fry, who is a Connecticut hero,
yes,
and not recognized, as you had said.
How did you get involved with this project?
Well, 13 years ago, I read about his story. There was an exhibit at the Israeli Museum, and I identified with him because I was an artist, and I love Chagall, whom he saved.
He saved Mark Chagall?
Mark Chagall, Max Ernst, among many.
Wow.
And I grew up under anti-Semitism in a small town in New Jersey. So I immediately identified with him. I immediately got the book, which I heard that he had written, Surrender on Demand, by Varian Fry. You can get it online. It's out there. It's almost a diary of his saving over 2,000 people.
Wow.
And it's a very important book.
Yes, yes. So now, how did he get this job of saving people? Well,
Varian Fry believed in man's humanity to man. And at a very young age, he was very interested in helping people, and he was a very bright young man, a quiet man. He went to Hotchkiss here in Connecticut and Taft, went on to Harvard, and he believed in man's humanity to man. His grandfather, who inspired him, was his favorite champion. And after Fry graduated from Harvard, in the meantime, he married his friend's sister. They formed a literary magazine at Harvard. And they both went to live in New York. And he got a journalistic job.
He was working for the New York Times, right?
He was a freelance journalist.
Okay.
But one assignment took him to Berlin in 1935, and that changed his life.
What happened?
Well, he went there on this simple assignment, and he saw Jews elegantly dressed in coffee shops on the street. They were pulled out, thrown to the street, bloodied, and the German people were laughing, and he couldn't believe what he saw, Jews being bloodied, beaten, and then he spoke. He went to see a friend of his who also graduated Harvard, and he told him that there were rumors that Hitler had two ideas about what he was going to do with the Jews. He was going to annihilate them or export them. And so Fry came back and wrote about all this that he'd seen and heard, and nobody took him serious.
It seemed too fantastic, too unbelievable. Right?
And then in 1940, the American Rescue Committee in New York City met.
Hang on one second.
Yeah.
Before we get too far, I want to see a picture of this guy.
Sure.
If we could see photograph number 1, Varian Fry. Let's have a look at that. Very handsome man.
Yes. Very quiet, very bright man, very intellectual.
Now, so he began his career as a journalist, really.
Yes.
And then he went on at this certain point in time and was working for the State Department, was it? How did that all shake out?
No, not for the State Department. What happened was the American Rescue Committee met at the Commodore Hotel in 1940, and they heard that all these artists were going to be, they were on the Gestapo list, and they met with the head of the Modern Museum of Art, and they formed a list of 200 artists, writers, scientists that they wanted to get out. So they needed someone to go over there for, they only gave 3 weeks to this assignment. It was called Assignment Rescue, and there's another book that Fry wrote called Assignment Rescue. And they raised $3,000. They wanted someone to speak French and German, which Fry did. They wanted somebody knowledgeable about politics and art. Perfect for Fry.
He was the perfect guy.
Yes. And so he volunteered, and they wanted to see if they could find somebody else. Nobody else volunteered.